And that's what we're going to talk about today. What the heck? Scare me. What's up, taters? Can Vandal here. Man, I'm excited to be back, man. I'm as excited as a six-finger man in a butt-scratching contest. Yeah, I've been doing some moving. I just moved into my new house, and I've moved in, but I haven't settled in yet, and that's what I'm doing now. But now that I'm here, I'm going to be able to crank out a lot more content. Now, today, we're going to be talking about a term in the Slingshot community called a tapeworm. A taper. Yeah, we're going to be talking about tapers. Just recently, I was asked by a subscriber, what is a taper? And I thought that was a very good question. You see, a lot of times in the Slingshot community, we take for granted that new shooters know what we're talking about when we use Slingshot terms, such as like anchor point, shot reference, cross-sectional thickness, and tapers. A lot of times, they don't know what we're talking about. So from time to time on my channel, I want to just pump the brakes and explain some of these terms. Now, I'm not here to frame-splain or talk down. I'm just simply going to tell you what they are. So with that said, let's talk about tapers. All right, first and foremost, let's start off with a definition. What is a taper? Well, the most simple definition of a taper is to progressively become smaller towards one end. In other words, you're going to start off with something bigger and come down to something smaller. It's that simple. Now, we're all familiar with tapers. There's tapered haircuts, a whip is tapered, heck, even a turd's tapered. That's so your butt cheeks don't slam shut. There's a deer right over there. He's coming right towards me. Don't even see me. It's in my yard. Dinner time. I just scared it off. Man, there's deer walking through my yard. This is awesome. God. All right, where was I? Oh, okay. And when it comes to slingshots, the definition carries the same. It's a progressive narrowing of the band material when you cut it. In fact, I got a frame here. This is my Slant Roller. I don't know if you got one of these. You've got to get one. I'll put the link down in the description. They just come out from SimpleShot. It's a Mark Seljan design. It is a awesome frame. But I've got this banded with SimpleShot premium black latex, the best latex on the market, and I've got a 12 to 20 taper. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. If you look up top, this is 20 and it tapers down to a 12. That's what we mean when we say a tapered band. All right, now that we've defined it, let's talk about why. Why should you use a tapered band versus, let's say, a straight cut band? Did I say van? I think it did. Why should we use a tapered band versus a straight cut band? Man, that's hard to get out. Let's talk about it. All right, the biggest reason we use tapered bands, God, I'm going to say van all day. All right, one of the biggest reasons for using a tapered band versus a straight cut is acceleration. You get more speed at a tapered band. A tapered band with the same material amount as a straight cut will always accelerate faster. Tapered bands shoot faster than straight cuts. Now, here's a side note. I'm not saying a straight cut is a bad thing. There's a lot of people that use straight cuts, and it's totally acceptable. But if you want to get better performance and higher velocity out of your bands, a tapered band will shoot faster. Now, why is this? Well, I'm glad you asked. With a tapered band, the center of gravity is closer to the frame. This benefits in higher retraction speed at the pouch. In other words, there's more band mass at the frame, resulting in less band mass at the pouch end, which gives you better acceleration because there's less material at the pouch end. And that's why tapered bands accelerate faster than straight cuts. But higher velocity is not the only benefit to a tapered cut. Another benefit is that it's very predictable when it fails. It doesn't matter what brand of band material you are using, there will come a time when it will fail. Like I said before, I use SimpleShot premium black latex on just about every frame that I shoot, and although it is a premium latex, it will fail sooner or later. Now the cool thing about a taper is where it fails at is very predictable. A band is typically going to break at its weakest point. And the weakest point on a taper band is, you guessed it, towards the pouch. In fact, I got another frame here I was shooting just recently and my band broke. I want to show you exactly where it broke at to prove my point. If you'll look right here, check that out. Can you see that? The break was at the pouch. Why? Again, because at the pouch is its weakest point. Now, why is that a benefit? Let me explain. When you're shooting a slingshot and it breaks at its weakest point, which is at the pouch, what happens is all this material doesn't fly back in your face, it flies forward. And that's what you want, because if it were to break up here, it's all coming back here. So you can almost make the argument that a tapered band is safer than a straight cut. So another benefit to using tapered bands is that it's very predictable when they do break. It typically will break towards the pouch, which is what you want. Now the only exception to this is if you are using a latex that has poor cross-sectional thickness. Now when band material has poor cross-sectional thickness, that basically means that in that roll there are weak spots because of just poor manufacturing. And when you are shooting a band set that has poor cross-sectional thickness, it can break anywhere. If you're shooting a roll of latex that's just breaking in unpredictable places, you've got a bad roll. It has poor cross-sectional thickness, and I probably wouldn't shoot it. But when you have premium latex like SimpleShot Premium Black, 9 times out of 10, it's going to break right at the pouch. And that's where you want it. And that's some benefits to tapered bands. So to sum it all up, when you use tapered bands, you're going to get higher velocity and they're going to be more predictable when they do fail. Also, you're going to have less resistance when you pull back and better retraction, which again gives you better velocity. All right, now that we've defined what a taper is and we've talked about the benefits of a taper, let's go to the table. I'm going to cut a few. Let's go. All right, taters, let's get started. This is how I cut band sets, and I've been doing this for a couple years. First and foremost, you need some good latex, and like I've said many times, you cannot go wrong with SimpleShot Premium Black Latex. It is probably the most predictable latex I've ever used, and I would highly recommend it. And what I'm going to do here is I've got a roll of, this is 0.5, and I'm going to cut a piece off the roll that is my active band length. And my active band length is 6 inches. I said length. My active band length is 6 inches, so I'm going to cut a 7-inch piece off this roll. And it's very easy to do. There's some measurements at the bottom of my mat, and I'm just laying it out 7 inches, and I'm marking it. And then I'm going to mark the top as well. And then I'm going to get a straight cutter and cut the piece off, and that's what you're about to see. Now, the tool that I'm going to be using, this is a universal taper cutter. And some people call it a universal taper template. You call it what you want, but this is one of the best tools that you can use for cutting a band set. And all I'm doing here is, like I said, I'm just using it as a straight edge, and I got a rotary cutter there, and I just firmly push it on the material and just run it straight across. It cuts through easy. Now I'm going to set the universal taper cutter for my desired taper, which is going to be a 12 to 20 taper. And you can see I'm setting the top for 20, and I'm going to tighten these little bolts. It comes with an Allen wrench, very easy. And then I'll set the bottom for 12 and tighten up that bolt, and now it's set. So next, I'm going to take my my material, and I'm sliding it under the clear rail, and it hits a little wall under there. And then I'm going to take my rotary cutter, and I'm just going to firmly ride the clear rail all the way across the material. Very simple. Be firm with this and commit to it, and then look what happens. You got a perfectly cut 12 to 20 tapered band. Now, what you saw me flip the material over, that's very important that you do in between cutting your pieces. And then I'm going to repeat the process until I have
cut all the desired bands. For this one, I'm just going to go ahead and finish this piece out. You just cut it. Remember, cut it, flip it, cut it, flip it. You've got to flip it. And when you get this, you'll understand why. But it's very easy. You can see you can make a couple band sets very quickly. One little piece is probably going to make, you know, maybe 4 to 5 sets, and you may have a little bit left over. But with what I got left over, I probably a lot of times I'm going to do like I'm doing now. I'm going to use it to cut some time material for when I wrap and tuck. So I got a little piece left over, so I'm going to split it right down the middle, just like that. Look at that. Ain't that pretty? And now I've got 2 perfectly good pieces for a wrap and tuck. And that's just about it. It's that easy. Now I'm just going to unloosen the bolts, and the clear rail is going to collapse inside the black case, and that's it. This thing packs up very easy. It's very easy to use, and it's very affordable. I mean, these things, they practically give these things away, and I'll put a link in the description where you can get one. But it's that easy. And then I'll take a little Allen wrench, put it in my little toolkit. Ain't that neat? And that's it. And that's how you cut bands.
All right, Taters, we're going to wrap this thing up. I cannot tell you how excited I am to be getting back in front of this camera. And now that I've moved in, I'm going to be cranking out a lot of content for you guys. So be sure to go down in the description below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. But hit that like button and the bell notification so you can get everything that I'm putting out, because Ken Vandal is putting out. And with that said, be kind to each other. Get out there and bust some cans. We'll see you next time. That'll wrap.